Seriously, these beauty masks are getting more and more intense or scary with every product that's launched. This is the Jovs 4D Light Therapy Beauty Mask, and I'm going to tell you whether it works or not. So this is brand new. In fact, it's just hit the market and I was lucky enough to get a pre-release version. It is actually an anti-aging beauty mask. It's not something for Halloween, though it could go well on Halloween night, I guess. I have seen quite a few LED masks before, but this is different. Obviously, it's an entirely different look, and we'll get to that soon, but it's not actually an LED mask, it's a laser mask, which is pretty cool, and I'll explain why soon. Now, the marketing claims behind the Jovs 4D Light Laser Mask are quite profound, and I'm going to share my thoughts on some of their statements, plus I'm going to get my spectrometer to determine exactly what is being emitted from this mask. Okay, so this is made from a company called Jovs. Now, you may have heard of it. They are a company well known in the personal care beauty space. Obviously, I specialize in light therapy on this channel. This is a pretty neat light therapy device. So I was interested to see what they'd come up with and how it's going to be different to the other masks out there. Now, if you head over to the product website, you will see that this is marketed as a 4-in-1 skin solution. It's going to help with anti-aging, wrinkle reduction, smooth fine lines, increased firmness, improved dark circles, brightening, calm redness, all of those things you're looking for when it comes to beauty, anti-aging, and just overall skin rejuvenation. Now, what's cool is red light therapy is well documented to help with these things. So I am confident the 4D mask is going to help. When you scroll down a little bit, you'll start seeing some product features. Then you'll see some rather impressive before and after results, and these apparently happened in 4 weeks, which is quite amazing. Then you get to the technical features, which I always like geeking out on. First up, you'll see this FPT, Focus Photothermal Therapy, which is apparently 6 times more powerful than LED, visible results in 4 weeks. So this is just pretty much lasers. Now, when it comes to light therapy, it doesn't matter how that light is delivered, whether it's from the sun, whether it's from a light bulb, whether it's from a laser, or whether it's from an LED. What matters is the wavelength, effectively the color, and also the intensity. 660 nanometer red light coming from a high-powered LED that requires a cooling fan is going to have a different effect on the body than, say, a red light from your Christmas tree decorations. Now, lasers aren't necessarily better than LEDs, but what happens when you're using LEDs is the light is a lot more concentrated in that particular wavelength, which is actually good when you're looking at therapeutic light. As for it being more powerful than LED as well, you can get some quite powerful LEDs out there, so I'm not too sure about that. Reducing skin irritation, so they're using food-grade silicone. I don't know if anyone has had issues with regular silicone, but maybe they have. Apparently it's completely safe. You don't need to worry about goggles, and that is because of the large opening in the eye area here, which, to be honest, is a nice feature. You can easily see with this. I have used a lot of beauty masks over the last year or two, and yeah, some of them are absolutely horrible to see through. They're marketed as being portable and convenient, so you can carry on with your day while you're using a mask, but in reality, it's a bit scary to move around a room wearing these things. That's not the case with this. It's very easy to see through. I can easily read a book or check my phone or do the dishes, for instance, without worrying about tripping over and hurting myself. And then finally, point 5, I'm not too sure where point 4 is going, but it says high efficiency, optimal result. Not too sure what that is about. Scroll down a little bit further, we see that it has Velcro straps, it has 140 light beams. Now I counted it, there's about 70 light clusters here, so I'm assuming each cluster has 2 wavelengths coming from it. We've got the portable, clippable controller, which is easy to use, as mentioned. And then finally, we've got the mode options, mentioning how there's 3 different modes: soothing, standard, or deep. Now, all this is doing is changing the intensity. Mode 1 is low, mode 3 is high. You can also use this for 10, 15, or 20 minutes. Personally, I'm probably going to go straight to mode 3, the full intensity, and use it for, say, 10 or 15 minutes. But if you're new to light therapy, you may want to start off on mode 1, low intensity, and just try that for 10 minutes. Do that a few times a week and make sure there's no reactions or issues. Now, they are actually using 4 different wavelengths in this mask, which is quite a lot for a mask. I mean, typically we see 2, maybe 3 different wavelengths. 4 wavelengths, especially when using lasers, is quite impressive. But even though there's about 70 different light arrays in the mask, each of those arrays isn't actually emitting all 4 wavelengths. Now, what Jovs have done here is actually arranged the wavelengths into different areas on the face to treat different problems. So around the eyes, you're getting a lot of 660 and 670 nanometer red light. Up in the forehead, you're getting the deeper penetrating 850 nanometer near red light. The cheeks, you're getting 950 nanometer near-infrared light, and this is meant to help with redness and dullness. And then your smile lines off to the side of your eye here, you're actually getting the 1064 nanometer near-infrared light, which is quite unique, and it is interesting how they've just used that wavelength in that one particular area. Let me get my spectrometer out, and I'll do some testing, and I'll explain it in a little bit more detail. Okay, so it's actually quite difficult to get an accurate irradiance figure on this because every laser cluster is using different wavelengths, and it means there's such a variance in how much energy is coming out. So I did a bunch of tests. As you can see here on the screen, this particular reading was showing energy in the 670 nanometer wavelength range. This was a reading up in the forehead, and we had a radiance figure of 4.8. Now, I also tested some other clusters, and I got figures much higher. Here's one just under 14 milliwatts over centimeter squared, and I saw one that was up to 17 milliwatts over centimeter squared. These are as close to the clusters as I can get. Pretty much when we're getting near infrared light in there, we're getting much higher radiance figures. So in this particular reading, we've got some 670 light, and then we've also got the 840 nanometer wavelength. So it's hard for me to say overall you're getting X amount of energy because it does vary. What is good though, because we're seeing figures around that 10 or 15 milliwatts over centimeter squared, that is a decent amount of power. Remember that this is applied directly onto the skin or reasonably close to the skin. Of course, though, this does mean the areas in between the laser clusters are going to have very little light because it is applied directly against the skin. So it's not like a panel where the light spreads out. Though saying that, I think for a mask, yeah, these numbers are good. Okay, so how much does it cost to get one of these? Well, it retails for $734. Now, they have given me a discount code. I'll put that code in the show notes below, and that will save you $60, which brings the price down to $674. Shipping worldwide is free, which is a great bonus, and you get a 1-year warranty with a 90-day return policy. Okay, so after doing all my testing and using this for a few sessions, I do have some pros and cons that I want to share with you. First up, let's do what I like. Well, I like that they've used lasers over LEDs. Now, there's nothing wrong with LEDs, but lasers do give you a much more focused wavelength. You're getting less light wastage outside the targeted wavelength. One issue here, though, is the company has stated that you're getting 660 nanometer light, where I actually found you're getting 670, and they had a similar issue with some of their near-infrared wavelength. Now, typically when you're dealing with LEDs, it doesn't matter as much because you are getting quite a wide spectrum of light. With lasers, that's not the case. So if you look at some of my testing results before, you'll see that you're actually not getting much 660 light. You're getting 670 instead, for instance. So this is just something to be wary of. If you've seen a really good study showing 660 nanometer light was really beneficial and you want that, you're not actually going to get that from this mask. But fortunately, 660 or 670, it doesn't matter too much. Likewise with those near-infrared ranges as well. I also like how they have packed in 4 different wavelengths. The wavelengths they've included do have a lot of research behind them, especially when it does come to collagen, anti-aging, fine lines, redness, all of those things you're looking for. The 1060 nanometer light, there isn't as much research, but that is a deeper penetrating wavelength, so there might be some extra benefits there. I also like how there was a decent amount of power. Some of these masks I've tested have been super low on the power front, and you have to wonder if they're actually going to do anything. That wasn't the case with this mask. However, the light intensity did vary a lot as you move across the mask surface. As for using the mask, there are quite a few things I liked about it. Firstly, it's easy to get on and strap it in place. It feels nice and secure. The contour design fits like a glove on your face. You can move around, you can do the dishes, you could do some exercise even, and it feels snug on there, which is a great plus. I like the remote. It's simple to use. The buttons are nice and big and easy to press. Plus, it's got that clip, so you can clip it onto your waistband and move around without it dangling around. Overall, though, should you buy this? Well, I do have to say that I'm impressed with the power output and that they're using lasers and delivering a good wavelength of light. I like how easy it is to move around with it, and I do like that the controller is simple to use and has that handy clip.